Hello everyone, it is me, GamePenguin21, and today, well, looks like we get to talk about another interesting situation. This one seems to be a smaller situation, but one that I still think is more interesting to talk about because I get to do three different things. I get to make fun of PlayStation guys, I get to make fun of Xbox guys, and I get to talk about an interesting dev situation. Now, what does this all revolve around? Well, this all revolves around the release, or the upcoming release, of Hypercharge Unbox, which is an indie game that released on a while back on the PC as well as the Nintendo Switch. Now, one of the biggest things about this game right now is because there are several people who have made videos on this, mainly the one being the dev, which we will look at this, but the one that got me more talking about this and got me back into this interesting topic was JayTech himself. Now, I wanted to talk about JayTech first because his whole thing was actually that Hypercharged Unbox is the new Helldivers, or at least that's what he thinks. So looking at that, that is a crazy take, and I definitely wanted to talk about it. And that video, though short, has a lot wrong with it. And the dev video itself I also wanted to talk about, mainly because of marketing and critique and stuff like that. But all of that we'll get into in this video. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you guys are aware. I'm trying to hit 1K subscribers by the end of the year. Please like, comment, favorite, and subscribe would be helpful. And I also do stream and do Twitch stuff and Twitter stuff and music. All links down to the description below. With that being said, with that quick thing out of the way, let's get started.
So I wanted to talk about Hypercharge Unbox and how this game should give the Xbox community an opportunity to redeem themselves. So as we know, Xbox fans have pretty much been conditioned to not buy games anymore because of the existence of Game Pass. They know that certain types of games will end up in the service and that they don't have to spend additional money, so they just wait, or they just don't buy your game, period. Now, seeing the developer of Hypercharge Unbox cry about the announcement of the game, and then making a follow-up video about Xbox fans saying that they don't want to play the game if it's not in Game Pass, it's really hurtful. I support so many indie games, including this one.
Oh boy, I just love how bullshit this is. Arguments, like, my god. I love how Jay tries to take, like, the moral high ground here, saying, I support my indie developers. I love them, and I want to support them just to own the PlayStation or the Xbox fanboys. Like, Jay, you have a history of being a complete dick to people, and sometimes even showing that to developers. And I know that that's, like, kind of unrelated, but he's also talked about how the PC market and the PC itself is garbage because of all the indie games on it. He's talked about that. He's mentioned how much the indie game scene on the PC sucks and is stupid, and yet this comes out of that because it was originally released on PC, if I remember correctly, in early access, and yet it's the best game. It's a great game and deserves your support. And yes, absolutely, it does deserve your support. And go and support this game if you really like it. It's like a wave-based game. It has like some versus modes and stuff like that. I haven't really played it. I've looked into it. I like it as a concept, but I just don't have the money. I'm very tight on it. I'm sorry. But look, I have played way more indie games and have touted for way more indie games than Jay. Like, you don't get to just use this as a method to try to fight the fanboys or whatever. Like, jeez. And of course, in before, well, you've talked about indie games and stuff, and you're just as bad as Jay. It's like, yeah, I've talked about that, but I've also actually advocated for a lot of those games as well. I know Jay also bought this, but this is one indie game that he's talked about, and the one that he's done. Where was, say, the one for, I don't know, Hi-Fi Rush, which is tech kind of in a game, but I guess that's probably like not really the best. Where's his video on, say, BattleBit Remastered? Where's his video on, say, Forgive Me Father 1 and the upcoming review for Forgive Me Father 2? Like, where's his video on those kinds of smaller games? What about his video on the finals? Where's that? Anyway.
It's not on my platform of choice on PlayStation, and he went out of his way to advertise this game only for Xbox, even though the game released on Nintendo Switch 4 years ago.
Boy. I wanted to highlight this section really quickly because, yeah, certainly, that sounded bitter. I don't know why. It just sounded very bitter to me, and it sounded like he was almost port baking. Like, it wasn't on my platform of choice, but I bought it on Steam and did all that other stuff. I don't know. It almost sounded like he was port begging. And also, yes, do you not know how marketing works? Of course he's advertising it on Xbox because it's coming out on Xbox. It's just how this marketing works.
So I was like, well, I don't want to wait. And I purchased the game for $20 on Steam, and I played it on my laptop. I played a damn good bit of it. This is gameplay captured on my laptop. So I'm saying all that if real gamers really want to support a game or a studio, they're going to do it, right? I'm a perfect example of that. I feel like this could be the Xbox's Hell Divers.
What the fuck?
Now, I know a lot of people probably gonna disagree with me, but if they really, really do like this game, they will support it with their wallet. I think the game is roughly around $30 to $40. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So I don't think it's that much for them. I think they should be able to support this game, but I know how this story ends. The game is currently still on PC. It does not have a lot of engagement. The re-release, if I'm saying that right, or the release of this game on Xbox should get the PC fans hyped up about a game that has existed on their platform for quite some time, but I highly doubt it.
Oh boy. Look, I know that I had to yell there, and that probably just goes against all of my exacerbation and my points and stuff. But Jay, what the fuck? Firstly, how the hell is this Xbox's Hell Divers? Like, you don't even go in to explain that. Like, that makes no sense. Talking about it, like, basically saying that, oh, it can be like this amazing supported thing. It's been out on PC and other and Microsoft, or not Microsoft, Nintendo for years, like you've just said. So not only are they two completely fucking different games with completely different scopes, but like, I don't get how that's the case. Plus, at the same time, not everyone likes that kind of game, and that's fair. Like, that's absolutely fair. The game itself doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it would entertain everybody, and it's a very specific topic because I've played a lot of Killing Floor, and it looks about the same in terms of at least, like, main gameplay loop, obviously, is what I'm talking about here, where it's, like, wave-based shooting and has, like, some versus modes and stuff like that. And again, overall, right, it's just, like, it's a smaller game, and not everyone's gonna know about a smaller game. You even said it was an indie game. like, you can't just try to take the moral high ground saying, oh, I purchased this indie game, therefore that makes me better than you, and try to pull the same thing that, like, PC guys pull, I guess. Like, I know I've talked about this as well, and I know that I've been like, oh, you should buy this indie game and you should support these indie games and stuff like that. And that's true, I guess. And I don't know if this makes me a complete hypocrite in terms of the, like, supporting it and stuff like that. But Jay, I just don't think you can speak correctly on this situation because you don't support a lot of the indies, because I don't see you supporting a lot of those indie games. I see you talking about Sony and their big budget games way more, saying that all of those games that they release are great, and like when they release on PC to more people, right? That's bad. Like, you've talked about how bad that shit is. And you're like, they should come to us. We should be keeping these games away from them. And yet, you're coming in here talking about, like, oh, this game is being kept away from people who will only play on Game Pass. Boo-hoo, go and buy the game. Like, you can't have it both ways, dude. You can't have it both ways where, on one hand, for your games, like, these is, like, the end-all be-all, and then for, like, other games, all right, I gotta take a breath here. Anyway, so next up, I think we're going to take a quick look at the actual review and the place that where he pulled a lot of this information from. But a little bit of a preface before this. There was an article that I'm also pulling this from, where this is one of the Xbox's releases for May, was the long-awaited Hypercharge Unbox, which is coming out on May 31st. And one of the tweets that was here says that just because our indie game isn't on Game Pass doesn't mean it's dead on arrival. We hope you still give our action figure game a try, and then links one of the PlayStation, one of the Twitter posts that was released on the actual Hypercharge game official site. But this was the follow-up to that, which I wanted to talk about because, in all honesty, this just... I don't think this is the way that you should handle talking to your community. But let's just talk about this then, shall we?
Game is dead on arrival without Game Pass. Laugh out loud. You should have just taken the Game Pass money, then you would have a bit of a player base that would actually end up buying the game. Oh.
Okay, so I wanted to highlight this specific section because I'm going to get into the comment first, and then we'll get into his reaction. But this is stupid, right? It's a stupid comment. It's a dumb comment, and I don't get why people think like this. Like, just because it's not on Game Pass, it's like, it's dumb. It's Game Pass is the end all be all. I mean, it's fine. It has some devs, and the devs' decision to do this and to not put it on one platform, but to put it on a different platform, that's all up to their decision. However, I don't think it deserves this kind of reaction.
So, first of all, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who has already pre-ordered our indie game. It honestly means so much that words don't do it justice, but honestly, it means so much to us that you believe in us and what we're making, and us as a team as well. As we're not a large team. We're just 6 indie devs. We're not a large corporation. We don't have millions or billions of pounds of budgets here and there. We're just 6 best friends who are making our dream game. We're finally bringing it onto our dream console, and just because it's not on Game Pass doesn't mean that that it should be completely dismissed, or that you shouldn't give it a try, or just...
Right, and I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Just because the game is not on a specific platform, just because the game is not on a specific service that you want, doesn't mean that you shouldn't completely dismiss the game, unless you, like, say, want to buy that game specifically to get like a completely new console or something. Because again, I don't particularly support that, because obviously that's kind of dumb if you get like an entire console just play like 1 or 2 games, mainly because of like the exclusive stuff. I don't like that, but that's a personal thing. If you want to do it, go right ahead. I just think it's a waste of money. And again, this game is good. It looks great. It plays great. It functions, and it looks like it's a fun time. I mean, again, I play a lot of Killing Floor. It's kind of the same thing. However, talking about this feels like it's trying to guilt trip your audience, and I don't like that. Again, if one comment, or if the comments of everyone that was talking about this and saying, "Oh, it's dead on arrival because it's not in Game Pass," fuck them. Just straight up, like that doesn't. Like, I get your stress, and I get your your understanding. You're gearing up for a launch. It's a very big, stressful time. You're trying to get all of your ducks in a row, and everything looks fine. But I have to tell you, don't do this to your audience. Don't just come out and say, "Oh, we're just a small team," or something like that. I mean, you can, and it's fine. And I'm probably being a little bit harsher than anything else here, but don't feed the trolls like this, I guess, is the best way to do it. If someone says your game is dead on arrival, that's my point, is that you're making your dream game. Let it happen and let your work speak for yourself. Don't let the hate get to you, I guess, is what I'm saying here.
Start throwing out comments that nobody's going to play it and this and that. You know, at the end of the day, support indie devs, support games also that aren't on Game Pass. Game Pass is great, has its perks, but not every game is necessarily the right fit for it, you know. And yeah, there's nothing more I can say. I'm sorry our game isn't on Game Pass, but it isn't. It's, you pay for the game and put a lot of effort into it. A lot of effort and heart and soul into it, and we believe it's a fair price. And I don't know what else I can say.
You could have just said nothing. Like, again, not addressing, and I'm not trying to like dress you down and say like, "Oh, you did a very bad thing. This is not good." Like, no, what you're doing is understandable to a degree to me. Like, I understand, again, it's a stressful time. You're gearing up for a big release, and people out there are just saying, "Oh, this game's gone." Who cares? Like, who the fuck cares? Drawing attention to it does not help your case here. "Oh, but Penguin, you're being a little bit harsh on him, are you not? You're talking about," like, no. Like, again, I'm not being too harsh in saying just don't listen to those people. Don't give them that attention, because those people will continuously come back seeking out your validation and your attention because they think that they're in the right. And I think that you understand that they're not in the right, and that you probably shouldn't be talking down to them like that. But you don't need to go out of your way to not only make a tweet talking about it, but also like an entire video that seems to be like, it feels to me like bitching and complaining, where you're talking about it and then you only really show the one comment. But if like a person even says that, they're not part of the market or the audience that you're trying to foster. You get what I mean? They're not part of the market area that you're trying to target. So who cares? The biggest problem that I have with this is the fact that those two tweets were made on the official the official hypercharged actual thing. It's their actual developers and their actual official social media page that gets me upset about that, because it feels like you're talking down to your audience, and you shouldn't do that. You should never talk down to your audience like that. And I get that this is more of like an appeal to, say, guilt or an appeal to what the fuck is it's an appeal to something, which is why it feels so underhand. It doesn't feel, I guess it doesn't feel underhanded. It just feels wrong. Like, you know, again, talking down to your audience, it never feels good. It's dumb, and that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, I get it. Again, you're stressed, you're upset, and I do feel for him. I do genuinely want his game to succeed because his game looks good. It looks fantastic. It looks fun. He's gotten sponsorships and he's gotten to major places. It's a good game and deserves your support. And I will never, ever say otherwise. However, I can critique some of the actions that you take. And I don't think that this was a good action. I think that talking down to your audience and addressing the trolls and the people that say that your game is dead on arrival with no backing of that are idiots. And they're dumb. I think that Jay is also dumb. But that's for other reasons, mainly because he's a very big fucking hypocrite, and he only really seemed to have bought the game to try to own the people, or own the, like, Xbox guys who were complaining about it. And I know that I haven't bought the game yet, but at the end of the day, again, I don't have the money right now, and I really think that I really should get it, actually. This has probably sparked it in the sense of me getting it again. But anyway, I think I'll end it off with the end bit of the article here. Most of the article is just recapping the events of what we've talked about, and again, it's of him talking about and it's basically the script and verbatim what he said. But the last bit of the article here states, obviously there's no doubt launching on Xbox Game Pass would have increased Hypercharge's player base considerably at launch, but there seems to be a lot of hype around the new release. Anyway, the YouTube trailer has around over 100,000 views, so we're assuming it's going to prove pretty popular later this month. I just love how that's like the world's weirdest backhanded compliment. So, yeah. This is from an Xbox thing, too, if I remember correctly. So, very weird backhanded compliment of like, oh, there's no doubt it would have gotten more hype around it, but it seems like it's going to be doing it fine. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that that'll about do it for this episode of I Ranted to a Microphone for 5 Ever, to basically make a point of don't be a dick online and try to see if you can remain as consistent as possible. My name is GamePenguin21. If you want to support me in other ways, shapes, or forms, links down to everything in the description below. Please like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1K subscribers by the end of the year. Y'all are awesome, and I love you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and a peace off.